Hello, Culture Matters podcast listeners. I am so excited to introduce you to our guest. Before I do that, here's a quote just for this episode. Give people a reason to come in, and that's through motivation, education, collaboration, fun, all the above. Also, have an environment that is welcoming to each person. You have to lead by example. All I know is to lead by example. Not do as I say, but see how I do. Mike McCann, the real estate man, said that. And our guest today is a good friend of the Culture Matters podcast. I took that quote right out of season 11, episode 133 of Mike McCann. If you haven't heard that episode, get your butts over there after this episode and listen to that episode. Mike's been a supporter of the podcast for years, even before there was a podcast. Season 3, episode 33, Mike's been on, and he has been in the real estate industry, mentoring and guiding and leading and really just working, which is awesome, for 38 years and 6 months and change. The true mentor to the industry, a mentor to mine, uh, a mentee of James B. Marion III, who I wish I could have met. And there's so many other great things, from real estate investment to real estate just sales and leadership and speaking. Thanks for coming back on the Culture Matters podcast, my good friend. So excited.
JJ, how are you, man?
I'm fired up. I was listening to your song this morning. It's a Beautiful Day by U2 that you always recommend.
Absolutely, every day. Yes. Awesome. We should have played it before we started this podcast. Duh.
I got to level up with that production ability, but we'll get there together. I got a question for you based on our last conversation. So it was when we posted, it was around April of 2023. We were going into this, let's say you had said on the last episode, after 10 years of kind of things being one way in the real estate business, they had shifted to being a different way. It was a harder market. What's different from today versus then, would you say, on the market side, if anything at all?
Versus from last year or from 10 years ago?
Last year first.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be more important. First of all, I'm going to have to watch what I say with you because you retain everything. But that's great. That's the one thing I do love about always speaking the truth. You never have to worry about what you say because I don't remember, 70% of what I say a lot of time. But if you mention it to me, I'll remember it and I'll know, so I don't have to think of, did I say that or not? Anyway, so from 12 months ago, so you told me it was April of 2023 was when we last spoke. And the market was softening up at that time. I do remember that. And concerned and saying, okay, people have to work harder. Not knowing that the market would continue to soften as those interest rates grew, as the buyers pushed back and said, wait, I could have got a rate at 2.75 and now it's 6. And then it just kept going up and up and up. So the market over the last 12 months, barring the last month or two, the last 12 months, 2023 was the biggest downturn in transactions in 40 years. Factual. The biggest number, we went from 6.5 million to about 4 million, 4.1 million. Well, you do the math. I don't know. It's 35%, but it's the biggest downturn in transactions in 40 years, in any metrics in the last 40 years. Now, what was interesting about that was prices didn't drop in most cases. Actually, if you're in the burbs, prices have gone up, and even a lot in the city. But what has happened is, and everyone knows this, is that people just pushed back. Sellers that didn't have to sell said, I'm not getting rid of my 3% mortgage. Buyers are like, I'm not paying 7.5% for a mortgage. And so it was just brutal. So the only people were the people that really, really had to buy, had to sell, that divorce, getting married, and stuff like that. And even them were putting stuff off. So it was brutal. And most people who had it easy since 19, the last 10 years have been pretty easy. been very easy, but especially 19, 20, 20, 21, 22, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I forget what the number is, but it's about, I think only less than 30% of the agents have been in the business more than 5 years. So a lot of people in the real estate business have been in a short period of time, say 5 years, and have made incredible money because the market was, you had the listing, it sold, you had a buyer, they bought something right away. It was insane, barring those 3 months when COVID first shut down 4 years ago. That was a freaky time. So anyway, now, you want me to stop at that answer?
Oh, I'd like to know, where are we today versus then?
Yeah. So finally around early to mid-December, rates finally stopped going up and started to go down a little bit. And we ended up, and again, when I talk, it's about, I'm in the Center City, Philadelphia, and suburban and Jersey Shore marketplace. And I don't look at stats. I'm not talking about stats. I'm talking about, I do 900 deals a year. I'm in the trenches. I sell. I don't just run an office and run a team. I'm out on the street, buyers, sellers. I'm engaged. I love the business. I still do it because I love it. But what has happened was in December, interest rates started to go down. So we had some freeing up of the market. And we had a pretty good December, and then we had pretty good January, and rates have gone down, and they jumped back up a little bit. But right now, I would say that the market has absolutely picked up, and people have adjusted to, what, I'm probably never going to get a 3%. I probably won't even get a 4%. I'll be lucky if I ever get a 5%. And people have adjusted their mind. The problem is, there's no inventory. So all those sellers, it's a whole sub-market of people that are not going to sell their house because they're not getting rid of that mortgage. So the last 2 months, 2-3 months, everybody's feeling a pickup. We're in the spring market these last 3 months. It's picking up. It's nothing like it was. We will probably go from the 6.5 million sales in 22 to and then we dropped to about 4 million to probably about 4.3 million. So we're going to probably have an increase. We would have a much greater increase if we had more inventory. So inventory is the problem, everyone will tell you.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the biggest thing. But so there's a lot of changes and adjustments to the real estate community, right? People have to show up and work. People have to go after their network. People have to actually do a ton of work. There's so much going on. Listen, I've been through many, 5 down cycles, many changes in the industry, from the internet, no internet, to the internet, from no buyer's agency to buyer's agency, from all kinds of stuff. But there's so many changes between the market and then with how the industry is changing based on those lawsuits that'll be, stuff. No one knows the exact answer, but things are changing about how buyers agents will be compensated. That's a big thing. It's a real big thing that will be coming down the pike, and we're starting to see a little bit of it now, but how this falls out. So the industry shifted and shaken, and it's still and will always be the greatest industry in the history of the world if you love people, and if you want to put no limits to your income, and if you want to be purposeful in people's lives. I am important in people's lives, Jay, because
I agree.
Nobody can help them with that house better than me. I mean, I know every little thing, every little and I love that. I'm just many people are way smarter than me, but in real estate, I'll go up against any attorney. I'll go up against anybody. So when you're an expert and you specialize in what you do, and you love what you do, and you love helping the people that you do, it's the greatest. And to me, which I'm preaching every day to the agents in here that are struggling, because I've never seen such sadness and depression in the real estate world. Never. Oh no, such sadness and depression, because most agents' income have dropped 20 to 60% in the last 12 months. And people thought this is the problem. In times are good, people thought that party was going to go all night. Well, guess what? It's 2 o'clock. The bar closed. You're emptying out on the street. You have to go. Yeah. So it's so much sadness. And so people are, because it was coming easy. So there's many changes in the industry.
Wow.
It's, I'm rambling.
6.5 million to 4.1 million as far as the amount of transactions, correct?
Yeah, it was,
Do we have a ball between 22 and 23? Do we have a ballpark of, in the last year or so,
in the
how
last,
many realtors? No, how many realtors decided not to pursue the career anymore? Do we know around those range?
yes.
Numbers?
Well,
Curious.
so they were at one point, 3/4 way through the year, there was a stat that said every 3 minutes a realtor is hanging their license up.
Stop. Oh,
Yeah. But we've only seen, I believe, it's only about 130,000 so far. So our rank swelled to 1.6 million. I think
whoa.
it's now about one. And actually, I'm sorry. I think it's went down to about one. Don't hold me on this. You could probably Google this, but about 1,500,000.
Okay.
Like about 1.5 million. So we had 1.6 million we were up to. Historically, we're hovering around 1.2 million, 1.3, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 million. And the rank swelled in the last 5 years. And we're expecting that there's some crazy numbers. Some people are saying in 2-3 years, we could be lose 300,000 to 400,000 agents. Some people are saying, I think we're going to lose 10 or 20%. That's what I do think. So whatever that would, I think we're going to lose 100, 200. Right now, the renewals have come up, so you're going to see more and more showing up because people are like, Now, here's some other stats, and I don't hold me exactly on these stats, but I believe it's like 49% of the licensed agents in the country didn't sell one piece of real estate. And then it's like,
Whoa.
it's like another percent sold like less than 3. I think if you do, it's like 70% of the real estate agents sold 3 homes or less. There's some, you could probably Google it. There's some number on that, but it's around those numbers. So as I say, in real estate, it's the, so we're going to lose a lot of the people that, they don't want to pay for their errors and admission insurance, their monthly fees, their association fees. And they don't want to pay for that because they're only doing 1 or 2 deals a year. And that kind of will be good. The industry will get more professional. Our classes right now are all about building your value, because it could occur down the road that the seller's no longer going to pay the buyer's agent commission. And you're going to have to go to your buyer and say, hey, I might get paid by the seller, but if not, this is my fee. And that's what the whole lawsuit's about. Not an attorney. I'm not making any statements on the lawsuit other than it's changing. Get ready, take classes, be prepared. Those that take it, when we've already had an incredible class that Gary Keller and Jay taught for 3.5 hours on our values and what we believe will be the new market.
Now, if I hear this correctly, if inventory in 20 is going to be up, you said it was 4.1, and you're thinking 4.3, right? In 24.
Sales, that's the number of sales dropped from 6.5.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean inventory. I meant sales. Sales dropped from 6.5, but now
then to about 4 million.
But it sounds like they're going up. It sounds slightly.
So the projection is, the numbers are about 4.3 million. So we'll see.
So if it goes up 4.3, that's about 5% or so. If the amount of agents goes down by 6% or greater, that seems like an opportunity. I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
So there you go. So what I've been preaching,
I want to get to work now. I want to sell some houses.
So what I've been doing at my meeting every month, and every time I'm speaking at the office, which is like once a month or a couple times, but I'm saying, just so you know, I've been through 5 downturns. Every time there's been a downturn, yes, my income went down for a year or 2, but I retooled myself. I invested in myself. I invested in my business, and then I grew my business. So I said, I believe that that we're going to lose 10%, 10 or 15% of the agents. I believe the market's going to come up 10 or 15%. And I also believe if you educate yourself, that's going to add another 10 or 15%. So honestly, if you are in this business, investing your time, learning, and staying in it, your business could go up 20 to 40% next year. The number of business, so 10% from the fallout of the agents, 10% from the marketplace, and 10% from your knowledge. That's 30%, right? And that will happen. I'm seeing some agents right now. I spoke to an agent yesterday. Mike, I'm having my best year ever. But they've been digging deep. They've been digging deep since last July, August, and started really retooling September, October. Started the best way to control your business is really to get your database together and to reach out to your clients with value, not solicitation, with value on a regular basis. And that would be helping them, providing them with vendors that could save them money or do stuff, having a charity event, having a gathering, social events, or giving them information, sharing what's going on in the neighborhood. So touching base with your clients so you can control that, and then also working hard. I say you have to show up. You have to work hard. This is not, those last couple of years was a false. So 4.3 million sales represents about the number of sales we had in 2011. And if you remember, in 2008, the market crashed. And listen, the best years ever, 7.3 million sales was like 05 and 06. And man, those years were phenomenal, right? 4, 5, 6, and 7 were the best. And then it was badly financed. The market collapsed. In 08, it went way down. And 9 went way down. So many people left the business, and it was tough. 10. And then 11, it started to go up a little bit. That's about where we are. So if you look at the graph over the last 40 years, we're going to match around 11. Now, so better than it was in the 80s. It's not as good as it was in the certain times in the 90s. So if you're in this business, you will take more market share if you bring value and know what you're doing. And so there's plenty of opportunity for everybody. If I'm a new person thinking about getting in real estate, I would tell them, get in real estate. Just know that's not going to come easy. It didn't come easy for me. And if you work at it, it's so easy to succeed, but it takes a couple of years.
You started in 86, correct?
June of 86, yes.
So any similarities between then, 86, 7, 8, and now?
I don't want to go back that far because most of the people weren't even freaking born then. Like I'm not even people's grandfather now. I'm like their grandfather.
Well, this is what I mean by that is, like, what type of person did you have to be if you were to share some of your behaviors and how you thought those first 3 years?
So it's so funny. As much as technology has changed everything, and the whole world has changed since the 80s or the 90s even. Excuse me. The fundamentals have not changed. So the fundamentals are become the most knowledgeable in your industry. Create the best reputation in your industry. You can't buy or sell your reputation. And I used to say work the hardest, but now it's work the hardest and smartest. You have to love what you do. So the only way that I've loved real estate and it's done very well for myself and my family, and I've helped a lot of people in it, is because I love helping people. You have to love people if you're in real estate sales. If you're in development, that's different. You're in construction, that's different. There's other parts of real estate. But if you want to sales and you want to impact, help people, you have to love people. So those fundamentals have not changed. And Jay, and I know you know this, but you have to do what's best for the customer. You can't I don't think about my commission. And I work just as hard for a $200,000 buyer as I do for a $2 million buyer, many times harder. I'm not thinking about the dollar. I'm helping them. Or if it's not right, Jay, no, hold off. Like I think I gave you some advice. Like, dude,
Yes,
you need
sir.
to buy. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Mike McCann for calling me out in his office of, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so, because on as well, I won't say where, right? But on February 23rd, we closed on my first home. So shout out to you for calling me out as any good mentor would.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you there. I want to
No,
know
no,
about
that's
this.
cool. So it's the best if you're an entrepreneur, best industry in the world. What's better about it today is Jay. I'm going to Italy for 2 weeks. I've never, I could never
Wow.
do that before. I like when I go away, people don't even know I'm away because I can still conduct my business away. Before, remember
Wow.
one time being on a cruise before the cell phones were around, like I had no contact. I'd have to find a payphone when we landed and, like and write notes. And could you imagine? My business stopped. Now, listen, I'm delegating, so I'm going to enjoy myself in Italy. But I've never been away for 2 weeks before, but I can do that today. So you can do your business anywhere, especially if you're a listing agent.
Hmm.
Um, so you can control your business in real estate. But my early years, I would work 3 weeks in a row. I took off a weekend and would pass out. My first couple of years, I was doing open houses every weekend. I was taking buyers out. I was showing up at the office at 9 o'clock. I was learning, taking every class I could, reading every book I could. Listen, we didn't have podcasts, but I would have listened to podcasts. I had to go to Temple every week, go to Temple Real Estate Institute of class. I read every book I could get. There wasn't the internet or podcast, and I would go to seminars
Wow.
wherever it was, and all over the place. So you can do that. So that's what's great about this business. You can control your life, but you have to build a great foundation, and you have to invest in your business. So
Hmm.
if I'm an agent today, it's like what we did in this last year. You want to ask me a question, or should I go on about
Oh,
something else?
I love listening to you. You could
Yeah.
talk all day.
So what we did as the market was coming down, so it's like, oh my God, everybody's freaking out. People are starting to, again, as I said, I never saw such sadness. And it's like, okay, you need to look at what your expenses are. You need to look at what's worked in the last 12, 15, 12 months, year and a half. You need to get rid of subscriptions you're not even using. You need to get rid of marketing stuff that's not working. And then you need to increase what is working. And then you need to look at find new ones that are low cost, high impact for generating leads. Right? In our business, it's all about leads to live. You could be the best salesperson in the world, but if you don't have a client in front of you, you can't sell it. You could be a marginal salesperson, but if you have 5 clients in front of you, you're going to sell one. You're going to sell 2.
Yeah.
And I've seen through this tough time so many of the agents with the right mindset that are like, okay, I'm going to start doing 5 or 6 open houses a weekend. I'm going to get a 33, get a touch system to contact, do a newsletter, and start to go after my database. I'm going to go after these HomeBot and these very inexpensive lead generating programs. I'm going to do a client event and maybe have some of my people help me sponsor it, like my plumber or my roofer, or my electrician, mortgage company. So I'm going to do events. So the people that are doing that are doing well. I have new agents. I have one new agent that did like $2.5 million in business in 3 months.
Wow.
He's only 5 months in the business, but he finally heard me at a meeting just saying, if I'm new, I just do open house. I wouldn't do 1 or 2. I would do 3 or 4 or 5 every single weekend. Just
Wow.
do it for an hour. The guy ends up doing $2.5 million in business. And I said, oh my God, $2.5 million in business in 3 months. You're only in the
Huge
business
money.
5 months. I said, I think I was 2 or 3 years before I did $2.5 million in business. He said, Mike, I listened to you. He said, it's a numbers game. He said, I'm doing 7 to 8 open houses a week. He said, I figure every 20 open houses, I'll get 1 client. He's there. So I'm just getting my 20s in. He's there, and he was telling my friend, he's like, he's like, listen, most of the open houses, they're not that great. Nobody will come, or it'll be a neighbor, or he's there. But I'm sitting there working, doing some marketing, social media follow up. Somebody comes in, clientele, $2.5 million in 3 months. And I said, now most people will tend to and then they'll back off.
Relax.
Don't stop. Keep going. Enjoy that positive energy. And he's doing, wants to do 12 million this year. Dude, I was in the business 15 years before I did 12, maybe 12 years before I did 12 million. I mean, there's opportunity big time. This industry, residential real estate, is easy to succeed in because so many people don't take it like a business.
I want to drill this in for our audience that's followed, our journey together through the show. April of 2023, you had mentioned, hey, we're cutting here and we're investing here. So what type of outcomes have you seen in the last about a year from that? What type of successes have you seen from that plan that you had or that vision you had in place and that philosophy that you had in place? Just kind of drill it in for audience so they can understand, because there's people that have been struggling in this last year that need to hear how you've come out on the other side.
Well, I'm still coming out. Listen, my business was down 25%. I probably invested another 20%. So my income was probably down 50%. It's insane, right? But being in real estate, I saved my money. And if you're successful in real estate, being down 10, 20, 50% is not the end of the world. And the reason that it was my business is down 25%. So I'm not going to cut back and try to get that 25% by savings, because then my business will go down further. What I did, my business down 25%, I increased my spending on more productive things by 25%, so that in the next year, two, as the business grows, my business will catapult. So Jay, we went from, our transaction volume wasn't dramatically down. I think we did more rentals. So we probably did 50 or maybe 100 less, 50 or 100 less in transactions, but we did some rentals not that much. But I think we went down from probably about, I think we only did 320 million, where the year before that we did 480 million. Yeah, so it's a big difference, right? But that 480 was artificially false because there was no market ever like that.
So a lot of this is psychology.
Yeah. Yes. But what I do know is we did trim stuff that was not working. We didn't have time to check because we were just, the business was so good. We did cut it. We found so many good programs and learned so many more things that we will. So this year, right now it's what is it, March 17th? What's today's date?
15th, yeah, March 15th.
Yeah, let's say 17th. That's that Irish day. That's St. Patty's Day. So today's March 15th. So we will see in January this year how much more than 320 million we do in business. And I'm confident we're going to hit 400 million. So I'm confident we're going to have a 20, 30% increase in business. I'm pretty confident. I'm very confident. I know we will. Not even confident. I know that we will from the results. And the message that I displayed to my operations people and to the agents that work with me is that this is just it's a blip. The ocean has waves and whatever. So it's just what it is. But when you're doing well, you have to save. You have to invest. You have to put money away for your taxes.
Wait, really?
Mercedes and what's that?
I said, wait, really? After the taxes? Because it's the joke. You hear that a lot. People may not do that, but they're maybe driving a Ferrari on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, how many people ask me if they could borrow money to pay their taxes? It's insane. So people make big dollars. You have to save for your first. When you get that check, you have to pay yourself first, right? For your family. You have to put money away for taxes. Then you have to try to save for the future. Then you have discretionary income, so wait. Here's one way to stay healthy. I can't say it, but anyway,
You just got
I pack
food
my lunch
delivered.
every day. My wife
Oh,
packs my
no.
lunch every day.
And you eat the same thing every day?
Well, it will change. Right now, I've been in salads the last couple of
I
years.
actually have a question about that because people that are listening to this show may not know that you did about 92,000 push-ups last year. I'm not being dramatic, wasn't it?
Yeah, 92. Very good. That's the exact amount. 250 a day, 92,000, and 100 a day squats, 30,000 squats. So, and
It's
I don't miss.
unbelievable. So can we just
I don't
unpack
miss.
that for the last, few minutes so that people can really, really get a grip over what they can accomplish in a year? So 92,000, so 250 a day.
Yes. So Jay, real quick, I started out during COVID. No, I was doing 100 a day, and then when COVID came, I said I'm going to increase it. But it's so funny. So I met a friend of mine, my age, and in our age, if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to really fall apart, right? I'm freaking 64, right? And he was in pretty bad shape, and I said, "You got to eat salads, dude. You got to drink water. You have to and do push-ups. Forget about the gym. Just do push-ups." I saw him 2 weeks ago, and he said, "Mike, I'm up to 110 push-ups a day,"
Wow.
and he looked so much better, so much better. And he's been doing it for about 4 or 5 months. It's impactful. So you have to eat healthy, and you have to stay in shape. I don't go to the gym anymore since COVID, but the push-ups are great.
Wow. And how do you do 250? Is it like you do whenever you can, you get a handful in?
I'm pretty much not really. I'm pretty much if it's the weekend, I'll probably do them in the morning. But most of the time, I'm doing them between 8 and 10 when I'm watching Netflix with my wife.
Wow. Like PM.
8 to 10 p.m. when I'm watching Netflix with my wife.
After work, you're getting that workout
Yeah,
in.
and so it's just what I get home 7:30 while I'm unpacking. Then we're catching up, and then I do. So I can't say my routine's the best for everybody. It works for me. And it's funny, I'll do, I used to do like 33, 33, and 34, 33, 33, and 34. It was 100. Now I've been doing 50, 50, 50, 5 sets of 50.
Wow.
But you start out at 10 or 5, and for a while I was doing 25, 25. So I'll do 20% of 25, sit down, have a little bit of water, 4 minutes later, do 25 more. I always have fruit. I eat a ton of fruit at night too. I like grapes and oranges and stuff. Fruit. We watching Netflix. I'll be doing them. It doesn't bother my wife, and she'll have she's this little thing of ice cream. I'm like, how come I'm doing these push-ups and you're eating Haagen-Dazs?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What has it done for you as psychologically in this time? Not just physically, but like working to grow the companies. You think there's an association with that commitment?
Listen, you have to be selfish and take care of yourself first. You can't have to be not be selfish with other people, but you have to be selfish to take care of yourself first. So, yes, I work hard. Yes, I give it all out to everybody every day. I exhaust myself every day. But by eating healthy, by doing exercise, the adrenaline flows. It keeps your mind flowing. And listen, as everybody knows, I am an espresso guy. So I'll have a shot of espresso mid-afternoon. I might even have one tonight. I love espresso. That's it. Water and espresso. That's all I drink. And I eat salads. And it's funny now I've been eating so much more. I don't want to. It's not vegan. I don't want to call it vegan. I don't like that word. But my daughter's vegan. Non meat stuff. Like I've eaten a lot of like it's really good. Like beans and like spinach and like I don't know. They're making my wife and daughter make me all this really good stuff, man. So it's not. Yeah. Anyway,
How do you keep your energy so high in these times of opportunity? Because I see you're leaning in, you're getting things done. You're looking at this as an opportunity, for our listeners. How do you keep your energy high?
So I just listen. I can match anybody's difficulties in life, anybody's hardships, anybody's anything. I promise you. I'll go toe to toe with anyone. Um, so I really have to say, I was just born with love for my mom and sisters and optimism. And no matter how tough things were, I always believed it was going to get better. And
Mm.
if you believe, you can achieve, as long as you never, never, never give up. And that has lived my life. And I love to be happy. I love to be silly. I love to have fun, but I love to be serious and get stuff done.
Mm.
So it's a combination. So when people meet me, they're like, I thought you'd be so much different, because I'm intense and serious, but I'm also the craziest dude going, right? I'm no different than that 14-year-old kid sometimes.
What do you say?
Authentic.
What? Go ahead. Yeah. What do you mean by
You have
authentic?
to be authentic. You have to be who you are. Jay, you can't be Mike McCann. I couldn't be Alan Dom. I have to be who I am, and I have to love who I am. You have to love yourself. Dude, you have to love yourself. If you don't, say it in the mirror. I love you, I love you, I love you. Say it every day. When I was a little kid and we had nothing, I used to say, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire. Everybody freaking laughed at me. I said that for a decade and a half. And,
Wow.
and so I believe, if you believe in something and you focus, put it on your mirror, put it on your refrigerator, and look at it every day and believe it, you can do it. It sounds, hokey, but it's
My
the truth.
last question is, what's your word for 2024?
What's my word?
Yeah, for 2024.
Oh, come on. I have lots of them, but my word for 2024. Um, I, I'm just into like grace and
Mm.
cooperation, love, and like helping and like making the world and the people around you a better place, dude. That's what I spend. That's what I spend my days doing, man.
Mm. If you're
Yeah,
listening to this, or go ahead, go ahead.
yeah.
You got
It's like
something?
I love to make money, but the one thing, as you've built wealth, one of the best things you can do is utilize that to help more things and more people. And that's what I love to do. I love helping people in the career, get
Wow.
their career going. I love helping people invest in real estate. I love helping people, whatever their issue is, because I'm a friend to many of my clients. Everybody in my life is like my family. Jay, if you call me up tomorrow, Mike, I have this going on personally, dude, I'd be right there. You know that. Anybody knows me knows that. And
True.
so contributing, but you do have to make sure you take care of yourself.
Mm.
And like, I have to make sure my wife is happy, right? Because if she ain't happy, nobody's happy. My family is happy. I
True.
can't do that at the expense of everybody else. And again, I get pulled all the way. So I just make sure I have my time block for, so we have our routines, and then anyway. So it's tough to be married to me, but there's a lot of benefits too. So we worked that out, over 37, 38 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Grace, love, cooperation. If you're listening to this episode,
Contribution. Yes. Contribution. Yes.
contribution, follow Mike, listen to episode 133 and 33, and please leave a review on the Culture Matters podcast, and we will see you next time on the Culture Matters podcast. Thanks, Mike.
Jay, good to see you, brother.